and I would have given absolutely anything to be ordinary, to live in one of the pastel boxes off of Hungarian Hill, to have curly blonde or brown hair instead of straight black, and to have pop eyes instead of ones that looked like slits carved into the smooth skin of a melon. The way the beautiful black woman spoke, however, I started to wonder. If I couldn't be ordinary, maybe I could be something better instead. Maybe I could get into the Nickelodeon. Luli tugged at my hand fretfully, but I squeezed tighter, comforting and bullying at once. "We are not ordinary at all," I declared, "and we don't have any nickels." The woman touched a neatly manicured nail to her full lower lip, and then she smiled. "An inch of your hair," she said at last. "Just 1 inch for 2 of you." "Sissy, let's go home," my sister begged in Cantonese, but I scowled at her and she subsided. "Just 1 inch," I said, as if I had any control over it. "And why do you want it anyway?" She helped me climb onto the spinning chrome stool with its red vinyl cushion. I remember the way the heat stuck it to my thighs where my thin dress rode up. I was already tall for my age. She swept a neat white cape around me, and as she snipped at my waist-length hair with a flashing pair of shears, she explained, "An inch of hair is 2 months of your life," she said, "give or take. An inch, that's your father coming home, your mother making chicken and sausage stew, skinning your knee running from the rough boys." It made sense, or at least I didn't want her to think that I didn't understand. She wrapped an inch of my hair into a little packet of silk, tucking it into the antique cash register, and then she handed my sister and me 2 grubby olive green tickets. I still have my ticket in a small box with some other mementos, next to a smooth lock of butter-gold hair and a withered white flower with a rust-red center. My sweat made the cheap ink go blurry, but you can still see the comique stamp, as well as its sigil, the sign of the Wheel of Fortune. The Nickelodeon was full of muttering patrons, the darkness waiting and full of potential. We were small enough that no one cared if we squeezed onto the edges of the front row seats, and in a moment, the flicker started. It was magic. In every world, it is a kind of magic. Silver light painted words on the flat, dark screen in front of us, and I didn't have to read for Luli because the immigrants around us were sounding out the words quietly. It was Romeo and Juliet, as performed by Josephine Beaufort and George Crenshaw, 2 of the last silent greats. She looked like a child compared to the man who had loved the great lady of Anaheim, but it didn't matter. Not when she filled up the screen with her aching black eyes, when his lip trembled with passion for the girl of a rival family. Their story was splattered over the screen in pure silver and gouts of black blood. First, Romeo's friend was killed, and then Juliet's cousin, and then Romeo himself, taking a poison draught that left him elegantly sprawled at the foot of her glass coffin. When Juliet came out, she gasped silently with horror at her fallen lover, reaching for his empty vial of poison. She tried to tongue the last bit out, but when no drop remained, she reached for his dagger. It wasn't Juliet any longer, but instead it was Josephine Beaufort, who was born Frances Steinmetz in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. She might have been born to a janitor and a seamstress, but in that moment, she was Josephine Beaufort, bastard daughter of an Austrian count and a French opera singer, just as much as she was Juliet Capulet. The entire Nickelodeon held its breath as her thin arms tensed, the point of the dagger pressed not to her chest where a rib or her sternum might deflect it, but against the softest part of her throat. Her mouth opened, and a dark runnel of blood streamed down her unmarked white throat. She paused, long enough to build empires, long enough for a dead lover to marvelously revive. Then her arms tensed, her fingers